Coming up on the St. Joseph Mustang Show, it's America's birthday celebration out at Phil Welch Stadium, while one St. Joseph Mustang returning to the team after overcoming a back injury. And it's now official, the Mustangs putting their founder, the late great Dan Gerson, into the St. Joseph Baseball Hall of Fame.
Slice to right, it's coming in, it's down! This game is over!
I'm ready to show my hand, ready to take a stand, wait on a sign above, and I am ready, I'm ready to face the fire, ready to walk the wire, waiting for my king to come.
And with that, welcome into the St. Joseph Mustang Show. I'm Chris Roush, happy to be with you again this week. KQ2's Brett Kennedy, Anthony Crane, and Darren Doyle will all join us throughout the show with different stories around the St. Joseph Mustangs, and we got a lot to get to. Between the July 3rd and 4th celebrations, to guys coming back from injuries, our conversation with the owner, Kai Turner, and much more to get to. First, though, we have to start with July 3rd and 4th. 2 games on the calendar a lot of people circle when it comes to the St. Joe Mustangs. Now, these games always mean a bit more for the Mustangs, with almost 8,000 fans piling into Phil Welch Wednesday and Thursday this past week. It was a sight to behold, from the pregame festivities to the on-the-field action to the fireworks. The 2 days at the stadium have become a yearly tradition for many people. Like I said, a lot of events and festivities around July 3rd and 4th at Phil Welch Stadium. And on July 3rd, the Mustangs honoring a local serviceman. KQ2's Darren Doyle brings us the story.
The 4th of July really brings out the patriotism in people. And what's more patriotic than honoring those who've served in the military before a baseball game?
And you see by the dawn's early light.
You know, this is something we look forward to every year. It's been a fun tradition for us. July 3rd and July 4th, you know, both of them together, it's a special time for us to honor America and everyone who served.
Among the fireworks, grilling, and more, the reasons we're able to celebrate this holiday isn't lost on the people at the St. Joseph Mustangs, as they honor Staff Sergeant Jeff Hufford.
Well, it started in 2009, shortly after high school, when I just didn't really want to do college and didn't know what else I was going to do. My grandpa told me I should try out the Army. I gave it a shot, and it stuck with me. I fell in love with it.
It's become a tradition for Mustangs baseball, along with celebrating America's independence, shining a light on those who continue to fight for our country.
You know, it's just a chance for us to all get together and honor someone who's served our country, and so it's a lot of fun for us to be able to do that, but then also thank everyone in the stadium, too, has served us. You know, for us to be able to come out here and play baseball, I mean, that's a fun thing for us, but we also don't take that for granted.
The Mustangs act to honor military veterans and active service members isn't lost on Staff Sergeant Hufford either.
It's really awesome that people are aware enough to just take the time to appreciate the service that all the service members give them. All the services, big jobs, little jobs, everything they do is very important. And we all really appreciate it when people take the time out to recognize us.
Of the free and the home of the brave.
Reporting at Phil Welch Stadium, Darren Doyle, KQ2 Sports.
Well, with July 3rd and 4th games behind us now, that means there's only a few weeks left in the regular season. In the Mink League, it's heating up. The Mustangs, one of the top teams in the league, but there's another team, a familiar rival, right behind them. KQ2's Anthony Crane takes a preview and an outlook on what we had to look forward to the next few weeks.
The St. Joseph Mustangs have been the best team in the Mink League this season, winning 22 of 24 to start the year. But suddenly the Mustangs find themselves in a bit of a race. Clarinda A started this season 5-6, but now sit at 23-8 and have won their last 2 matchups with the Mustangs.
Squared up way more balls than they did. You know, they just got a couple bloop hits, and we didn't make the plays we needed to, and they did. And that's really it, man. A long summer going on, man. I think we're 2-2 with them. You know, nights like this happen, and they happened a couple nights ago and tonight, but we're not too worried about it. We just got to get in the cages more.
The Mustangs and A's look destined to finish 1-2 in the Meek League standings and could find themselves playing each other in the league's biggest stage this season, with the league no longer having divisions.
I'm going to be honest, we just come out here and play ball though, but we do have a chip on the shoulder because they beat us last game. We don't really worry about what other teams are doing. We just come here to play our ball, have fun, be with our friends, and just vibe.
The two teams have 2 weeks and 3 matchups left to decide how the regular season will end and who will have home field in the postseason.
I think we're 25-5 right now, so that's pretty good. That's we've won a lot of games, and we've lost a couple games to the same teams. Everything's going pretty well. We're having a good time. Our pitching is what's really been dominant and keeping us in games when our bats aren't showing up.
Anthony Crane, KQ2 Sports.
Don't go anywhere, because when we come back from the St. Joe Mustangs show, the Mustangs making it official, putting the late, great Dan Gerson, the founder and owner of the St. Joe Mustangs, into the St. Joseph Baseball Hall of Fame. Welcome back. You go back to 2008. There wasn't summer baseball in St. Joseph. In fact, the Black Snakes had already left town. That left a gap and a hole in summer baseball and summer fun for a lot of people here in St. Joseph. But then comes in Dan Gerson. Gerson buying the Mustangs and starting it all in 2009. Well, Gerson's passing last September left a lot of people reminiscing about what he brought to St. Joseph. And for all he's done, he's now a member of the St. Joseph Baseball Hall of Fame.
Dan is one of the best men I ever known.
Dan Gerson never wanted to be inducted into the St. Joseph Baseball Hall of Fame, but after his unexpected passing last September, a no-brainer to induct the founder of the Mustangs into the Hall of Fame.
Please give it up one more time for Mr. Dan Gerson.
With his son Luke on hand to receive the honor in his memory,
he liked to claim he didn't like the attention, so he probably would have yelled at Kai. But deep down, he would have been really excited, and this is really cool to see and have this forever.
Gerson's contributions to the game in St. Joseph forever solidified.
I'm really looking forward to working with the city, and the most important thing to me is giving the city a team and an organization that they can be proud of.
This, what you see today, all started with a vision from a man with no ties to the city, but fell in love with what could be.
Well, the first time we talked, I think I told you what I wanted to do, and I think you were a little skeptical of what I was going to do.
Gerson took a chance on St. Joseph, took the chance people wanted baseball back at Phil Walsh Stadium, rolling the dice and it paying off.
But he would also walk the walk and put his money where his mouth was, and so he would always, say, for me, try to call my bluff, and he said, here's what it is, and he's absolutely a man of his word.
A huge part of my life, huge part of so many other people's lives, and none of it would be here. I don't know what I'd be doing in the summers if it wasn't for Dan. I wouldn't be doing this.
He was caring, he was loving, the silver fox that would roam the stadium, but always making sure somebody had a seat.
Thousands of fans coming through these gates year after year since the Mustangs started in 2009.
I was one of the first guys that signed on with it, and he told me the visions he had for this thing, and it was really cool to see it come to light, and that first night was really special. And
the Mustangs' popularity growing with each passing season, attendance records continuing to be made and broken again. But Gerson never wanting the praise or attention for bringing the love of summer baseball back to town.
The people there were hungry for something like this. He really invested not just his money, but his heart into the city.
He saw his dream turn into a reality in such a historic stadium where baseball legends once played, as the next generation looks to make their own name.
I never thought in terms of just how big a deal we would be in the fabric of St. Joe.
Gerson loved winning, something his team does consistently. But more than that, he wanted his team to be more than just a baseball team, something St. Joseph can be proud of. He accomplished that. And for that, Dan Gerson forever enshrined in the St. Joseph Baseball Hall of Fame.
He wanted to put St. Joe on the map, not for himself, but because he thought it was a very special community.
it really makes me feel great that the town's, just reacting even with more love for the Mustangs.
Welcome back to the St. Joseph Mustang Show, sponsored by All Tech and First Student. Easton Bruce, in his second season with the St. Joseph Mustangs, as the Washburn Ichabod, coming over to play with a teammate from college, Trevor McCollum. Bruce, though, coming back this year, a little bit more difficult because of an injury. KQ2's Brett Kennedy brings us Bruce's story.
With the sense of American pride amplified this week with the 4th of July holiday, one of the many things Americans love about sports is an inspiring comeback story. One of those resides on the St. Joseph Mustangs. This is outfielder Easton Bruce. During his junior season playing baseball with Washburn earlier this year, he noticed something strange.
Pretty early on in the season, I started having some pain in my lower back, and I kind of just pushed it off as maybe some soreness from lifting, things of that nature, and it ended up being pretty serious when I got to actually playing at Missouri Western. Was the last series that I played this spring. I jumped into the fence on a play, and then after that I kind of was struggling to run and sprint without having some serious pain in that lower back region, and it got to the point where I just wasn't really contributing anything that was going to help us anymore.
Bruce found out he had 2 stress fractures in his spine, ending his Washburn season early and then undergoing back surgery. That kept him out of playing baseball for 3 months.
I'm a big reps person, so I love being at practice, hitting, doing drills, stuff like that. So it was pretty hard for me in the beginning to just sit and watch off to the side. It was really tough, but I think one thing that it definitely taught me was how to be a better teammate and how to go about that process, because one thing that it really taught me was that, you got to take every opportunity for granted, especially in this game. You never know when it's going to get taken away from you, and I really got to know some of my other teammates who maybe I hadn't got as close a relationship with at Washburn, so I was super thankful for that.
But after strenuous hours of rehab and waiting, Bruce returned to the sport he loves so much. He worked his way back into the starting lineup for the St. Joseph Mustangs in late June, beginning his second season with the team.
He's definitely a warrior. The kid puts in a lot of work. So, I've never seen someone come home from a 2 a.m. bus trip to a road game and leave the house at 6:30 in the morning to go wake up and lift. So, he wants it more than anybody I've ever seen.
I remember telling my mom probably about 2.5 weeks ago that I was kind of getting bored at home just sitting around, so I was ready to get back down here. So it's really nice to be back and playing baseball. That's the main thing that I was missing more than anything, was this game, and especially the guys. So many returners from last year. It was great to be around those guys, and then seeing some new faces that fit in just phenomenally. And obviously the team's been having a ton of success this year, so I was really excited obviously to get back because I saw how much they were winning. I was like, dang, I want to be a part of that. I want to come back. So it's been phenomenal.
Even with all this adversity that Bruce has faced, he believes this whole ordeal has had a silver lining.
I think I've developed a certain aspect of patience that I didn't have before. I'm on the go a lot. I'm always moving. I'm always doing something, and I struggle to just sit back and see the bigger picture sometimes. So I think that one thing that this situation has really helped me with is making sure that in these situations where life hands us a little bit of a tough hand, we need to be able to step back and just realize and be grateful for all the things that we do have.
Brett Kennedy, KQ2 Sports.
Up next, Kai Turner joining me for our weekly sit-down. We talk all things Mustangs baseball, as well as an outlook on the last few weeks of the regular season. Stay tuned.
You think that bird hates us out here? Bird's the word. No, the bird I think hates us. He's getting louder and yelling at us as we're doing this.
It's hard to believe there's only a few weeks left of the regular season before the Mink League playoffs. But this week, Mustang owner Kai Turner is sitting down to talk about what it's been like so far this season, how the team is doing, his expectations for the last few weeks, as well as how they look ahead to next year already.
And I am ready. I'm ready to face the fire.
Kai,
Ty Turner joining me again this week. It's been a great week of baseball, 4th of July celebrations. Beautiful day to have this interview outside. Sometimes we're stuck inside, but today we had the field behind us too.
You know, no tarp on the field, and I think it's customary for you to take the tarp off you as well. So if you want to remove that shirt,
the shirt stays on.
Increase viewership. But yeah, it's been an incredible week. You know, and we're right in the middle of a the longest of the season, and so it's fun. July 3rd and July 4th, though, I mean, those are the ones that we talk about opening day, and then, you know, every weekend is important, but we really celebrate those holidays, and I think this year we had a great celebration.
Between the 2 days, I think your attendance was just almost a little under 8,000 between the 2 days. Just incredible 2 nights for you guys, the fireworks, the pregame ceremony Wednesday. What goes into making the 3rd and 4th such a special event for so many people wanting to come out?
We always wanted to make sure, you know, July 3rd and July 4th, we celebrate America, but then also, you know, the people who serve our country in the military, and then also give, you know, people from all backgrounds a family-friendly, affordable place to come celebrate. And so, you know, we've been very fortunate that people have chosen to come celebrate with us, and so it's been a lot of fun. But we had the big giant flag out here, and you know, that was our first time doing that, thanks to the Missouri Army National Guard. They had that flag, and so all the volunteers that took to hold that up. And it was also awesome, you know, we had some Mustangs players, but then I think practically the entire Sedalia dugout came out. And it was really neat to see that unite as one. The jerseys we wore had the Declaration of Independence on them, and it was just fun. We try to hit it from every detail, you know, from the sound you hear in the patriotic songs to the food to, you know, the game on the field to what we're wearing. We just try and give you as much of all-American feel.
Kai, do you start looking back at the season that was, or do you start going, all right, what can we do next year too?
It's really hard for us to like live in the moment, reflect as much as we're looking forward. I mean, there's just so much going on nonstop, which is great, just because we want to make sure we can engulf everything and just move forward. And so at the end of the year, it's nice. We do take a chance to kind of reflect and relax briefly. But we're always, I mean, we've already, before this season started, we have ideas for next year. We can't pull them all off in the same year, but we always want to keep people moving forward. Chris, I want to ask you a question. You know, you've kind of seen the evolution in your role with in St. Joe here. What do you think, how the Mustangs are advancing? What's the public perspective?
I think after that COVID year, I think we've talked about this before on and off camera, you don't really know what was going to happen after that, but I think there's been so much growth for the Mustangs since COVID, as weird as that sounds, where there's more investment, there's more people coming in, not just from the 4-state region or just people just wandering in. There's people across the world coming in, and I think there's people rallying behind St. Joseph now that maybe weren't rallying behind, no pun intended on rally, but 5 years ago, I don't know if people were embracing St. Joseph as a whole like they are now, and the Mustangs are a big part of that too.
You know, you say what the Mustangs are, and I think the really question for us is what the Mustangs will be. And I don't think we've achieved what the Mustangs will be yet. There's still a lot of things that we want to accomplish and some pretty high goals for us. And you talk about your experience, you know, the parallels, so we don't know. And I think that's every season. We don't know. We don't, right. I mean, and you look at it at the most basic element, we don't know what our players are going to be because these guys come from all over the country. We don't know what's going to show up in the stands. We don't know some of the stuff that we do throughout the stadium and the guest experience, how successful it's going to be, but we're not afraid to take a risk and try it. I know St. Joe did embrace us, but I think, you know, we were a very well-kept secret for a while. And so I think, you know, the support has always been incredible and it continues to grow. And I think as people see the experience and the word of mouth as it spread throughout the years, they believe in us and their expectations rise of us. And, you know, more often than not, we try and deliver on that.
We'll wrap things up here on the St. Joe Mustang Show, and we come back, another throwback, back in time in Mustangs history. Stay tuned.
Ready to walk the wire, waiting for my king to come. 'Cause I just live for the game. 'Cause I just live for the game.
Welcome back. Every year the Mustangs doing something for July 4th, whether it's the July 3rd and 4th celebrations they've had for several years now. This week we leave you with another look back on some of the past celebrations the Mustangs have been able to do at Phil Walsh Stadium.
An immense sense of pride coming from a family that has had somebody serve in the military, just a lot of pride.
I'm really grateful to be able to grow up around those people and know what kind of, stuff could be a lot worse, and they're doing stuff for us that we can't ever, repay them for.
It's a big deal to me because, I'm honored, like someone that's honored to go and fight for my freedom too, and me as my granddad did that for me. I don't know, it means a lot to me.
Oh, it's amazing. Look up to him, and I always have. And now that he's serving the country, it's just that much better. He's like my hero. It's nice to look up to somebody.
Everyday life people take for granted, the great country we live in, and it's really nice to see all the service members who have devoted their entire life to our protection and freedom get recognized like they do.
And that will do it for this week's show. A big thank you to our sponsors, Alltech and First Student, as well as Darren Doyle, Brett Kennedy, Anthony Crane, and everybody else that makes this show possible. I'm Chris Roush. Until next time, go Mustangs.